This man looks at her and he's like, how are you? How's your husband and how's your kid? And she goes, it is well. And I think the biggest thing about this is you don't have to be fine for it to be well. You don't have to be okay for the Lord to still be good and uphold his promises. Hello everybody, my name is Makayla Fenter. I am a junior art education major here at AU, and I am an RA in Kingsley, first floor. Love that for us. Anyways, all right, so today we are going to be bringing on the word, and we are going to be in 2 Kings chapter 4. So fun thing about this piece of scripture is this is actually the piece of scripture that I got saved on. So I'm really excited to share this with you guys today. But basically, what is going on in this situation is Elisha keeps passing through Shunem, I don't know how you pronounce it, but he keeps passing through, and as he's doing this, a woman, the Shunammite woman, keeps extending her home to him. She keeps hosting him, feeding him, and then finally one day he's like, listen, you have cared for me really, really well. What can I do for you? So with that, she's like, actually, I'm good. Well, his servant's like, she's like, her husband's old and she doesn't have a kid. So he's like, oh, well, that's easy. So next year in this appointed time, you will have a son. But the Shunammite woman responds in a very like relatable way. She's like, actually, like, don't lie to me. Like, if you're gonna, like, I'm good, you know, like, don't, verbatim it says, no, my Lord, man of God, do not lie to your maidservant. So she's like, listen, I don't want to be disappointed if you're lying to me. And that often relates to the fact that we put limitations on God through our own like expectations and disappointments, but separate conversation. Anyways, all that to say, that next year at that appointed time, she ended up having a son. So all that to say that Elisha had kept his word with that. So then this child that was promised grew up. And then one day he's working in the fields. And all of a sudden he runs to his father and he's like, my head. Something had happened. So he's like, go to your mom. So he goes to his mom. And when he gets there, it says he sat on her knees till noon and then died. So the son that was promised to her, she finally got, and then he grows up and then just dies in a field, which is like not ideal. So what she does in this situation is not relatable at all. I probably would have grieved. I probably would have freaked out. I probably would have got really mad. And what she does is she goes and takes her son, she lays him on the bed, and she shuts the door behind her and leaves. She goes to get on a donkey and goes to find the man of God. So at this point, she's seeking Elisha. And then this is kind of my favorite verse kind of to compile it. And Elisha sees her coming towards him. And he goes, look, the Shunammite woman, please run now to meet her and say to her, is it well with you? Is it well with your husband? Is it well with your child? And she answered, it is well. This man looks at her and he's like, how are you? How's your husband and how's your kid? And she goes, it is well. And I think the biggest thing about this is you don't have to be fine for it to be well. You don't have to be okay for the Lord to still be good and uphold his promises. So in this, you continue to see her be like, it literally says, let her alone, for her soul is in deep distress is what Elisha ends up acknowledging. So she was still hurting, but she still had a lot of faith, which is a really key point about this. So then in her faith, she ends up standing up and being like, Elisha, like, you promised me something. I didn't ask for a son. It was promised to me. And it was taken away from me. So in her faith, Elisha ends up following her back home, and he goes into the house, and there was the child lying dead on his bed. And it says he went in therefore, shut the door behind the two of them, and prayed to the Lord. It ends up saying that he put his hands to his hands, his mouth to his mouth, his feet to the little boy's feet, and he breathed life back into the boy. A really cool thing is it says he sneezed 7 times before he woke up, which is a personal favorite part. But all of that to say, like, it doesn't have to be all together. You do not have to have it all together. You don't have to know how to approach everything, how to deal with it the best way you can, to continue to offer that to the Lord and to trust in his faithfulness, like the Shunammite woman. So yeah, just continue that as you go about your days, to remember that it is well, and he is good in all that he does. So yeah, guys, have a great day.